Celebrities definitely enjoy a certain lifestyle that is far beyond what any of us could ever imagine. This motivates some people to try and reach a similar pinnacle, but it can also enrage those who are down on their luck. Today we'll be breaking down the top 10 celebrities that became targets due to their enormous wealth and status. Welcome to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. I'm your host Johnny Rogers, and if you happen to be new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that way you never miss another video. Now without any further delay, let's get right into today's list, the top 10 celebrities who were robbed. In at number 10, Conan O'Brien. After taking some time away from the official Conan studio at Largo, the team returned to discover that some of their items were missing. Due to the pandemic, a lot of late night shows had to adjust and find alternatives to filming. A lot of venues, including theaters, were included in lockdowns as businesses that needed to remain closed. Apparently, they discovered that someone had stolen a couple of laptops and a production slate used to sync up the audio and video. This was one of the few celebrities that actually was able to laugh about being robbed. Conan and his co-host Andy joked that no one breaks into the Tonight Show, adding that they've officially become the garage band of late night shows. Perhaps the most hilarious part though was the fact that the studio had cardboard cutouts to look like audience members, and so the person stealing had to see that and say, "Oh, don't mind me, I'm just gonna go steal some stuff." In at number 9, Usher. Back in April of 2018, the R&B star had approximately $820,000 stolen in jewelry and cash from his Los Angeles home. Luckily, Usher wasn't home at the time of the heist that included $20,000 in cash and a ton of jewelry and watches valued at several $100,000 each. His most expensive watch clocked in at $220,000 and had a rose gold Jesus necklace taken as well, valued at $200,000. Reportedly, it was Usher's housekeeper who first discovered a footprint on the second floor and then a handprint on a pillow in the lower floor. Apparently, the curtains were also left open and the robbers somehow were able to cut the connecting wires of the security system and make off with the tapes as well. This was not his first case of a major robbery, as thieves broke into his car in 2010 while he was shopping at a mall in Atlanta and stole jewelry, clothes, and electronics worth $1 million. Before we move on though, please show us some love here by tapping that like button if you're enjoying this video thus far. And coming in at number 8, Matthew McConaughey. According to reports back in 2008, things were most definitely not all right for Matthew McConaughey. Apparently, the actor was away on vacation in June of 2008 in Nicaragua when he was robbed without his knowledge. Yes, without his knowledge. Media reports cited that Matt had spent the night out drinking and even got up on a table at one point. After returning to his hotel room after this long night out in San Juan del Sur, he decided to head to bed but forgot to lock his door. So with a passed out McConaughey on the bed, thieves just walked right into the room and swiped his cell phone and $2,000 in cash. Sounds like Matt just needed a drinking buddy to remind him to lock up before crashing. In at number 7, Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart was doing some shopping on Hollywood Sunset Boulevard when he found himself in a very dangerous situation. On April 26, 1982, Stewart approached his parked car on a side street when he was met by an armed gunman, who then demanded the keys to the car, a 1977 Porsche Turbo Carrera. Stewart, accompanied by his 3-year-old daughter Kimberly and his secretary, surrendered the car keys in an attempt to keep everyone safe. Unfortunately, just when he thought the robbery was over, the criminal popped back out of the car again and pointed his gun at Rod. However, this time the gunman came back and said, "I can't start the car." So now at gunpoint, Rod Stewart had to walk out onto the side street with a gun in his back, get into the car, and start it for the robber. At the time, the car was valued at $50,000 and wasn't even the only car that he's had stolen. A while after that, in 2004, a disgruntled labor worker for him stole his Dodge Viper after being fired. And Rod has no luck with cars. In at number 6, Miley Cyrus. Just over 10 years ago, a gang of teenagers in Hollywood decided to team up and rob the rich and famous. They called themselves the Bling Ring, and although they were eventually caught, that story has inspired others to take what's not theirs. Miley Cyrus, for example, has had her home robbed 3 times in the span of 2 years. First in 2013, she lost about $100,000 in personal items and jewelry, but fortunately she wasn't home at the time. In May of 2014, a couple this time broke into her home and also stole jewelry, but unlike the first robbery, they also managed to steal her brand new Maserati. The estimated worth of that car was around $120,000. Then again, in December of 2014, her house was broken into and more jewelry and personal items went missing. I probably would have been the most upset that someone stole my car, just to be honest. Luckily though, throughout all 3 of these robberies, Miley was out of town on tour. Not saying it's lucky that she got robbed, but it could have been much worse if she was home during the invasion. In at number 5, Kate Moss. Kate Moss, on the other hand, was home during the home invasion that took place in 2010. Thieves broke into supermodel Kate Moss's home in London and stole very valuable artwork that included a portrait by Banksy. As aforementioned, Kate, her husband, and her mother were all believed to have been asleep in the house when the thieves struck in the early hours of the morning. The stolen Banksy portrait was believed to be worth £80,000, which is just over $104,000 US. Thankfully, police arrested the culprit after appealing to the public for more information about the theft. Their main concern was that the stolen piece would be sold before they could track it down. To stop this, they just reached out to some of London's top art galleries and put them on notice of a very specific Banksy piece that might be rolling through. In at number 4, John Stamos. This story of a celebrity being robbed is equal parts scary and bad timing. Although there probably is never a good time to get robbed, while you're getting married has to rank as one of the worst. Most weddings usually have something go wrong, and in this case it went very wrong. The day before John Stamos married Caitlin McHugh, her hotel room in Beverly Hills was broken into, and according to police, someone stole approximately $165,000 worth of jewelry that she intended on wearing to the wedding. There was no signs of forced entry though, which left police confused as to how someone was able to enter her room. Thankfully, Caitlin had already left the room to handle wedding arrangements when the robbery took place. In at number 3, Kendall Jenner. Kendall Jenner certainly had to make some big changes to her security team after her Hollywood Hills home was robbed. Back in 2017, Kendall was hosting a party in her $6.5 million mansion and around midnight left for approximately an hour. According to TMZ, the security guard posted up outside of the house watched as an uninvited guest made their way into the home. Due to the guard not stopping this person, the thief made their way into the home and stole around $200,000 worth of jewelry from Jenner's bedroom, which included a Rolex watch and a Cartier timepiece. Upon the police investigation though, there was no forced entry visible and the guard was promptly fired. Apparently he had only worked for Jenner for a short time and was actually hired after she had a scary incident with a stalker where the trespasser was just waiting on her property as she pulled into the driveway. So back-to-back scary incidents like that will certainly put you on edge, and it's no wonder this guy lost his job as a result of not doing his job. In at number 2, A$AP Rocky. I guess 2017 was the year that people became really emboldened to start stealing from celebrities. Rapper A$AP Rocky had his home robbed 3 years ago and the thieves made away with more than $1.5 million worth of stuff. According to TMZ, 3 men entered the home and held Rocky's sister at gunpoint, threatening her to open the door. They then forced her to collect jewelry and other valuable items from around the home. Fortunately for A$AP, he wasn't home at the time, but man, I feel terrible that his sister had to go through all of that. The thieves specifically were targeting him and even stole a safe that was later ditched onto the property as the robbers fled to a getaway car. Last but certainly not least, on our number 1 spot, Kim Kardashian. We are now 2 years removed from that very traumatic experience that Kim Kardashian went through in Paris, France. If you recall, Kim was tied up and robbed at gunpoint during a highly orchestrated heist. While appearing on My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman, Kim told Dave that she feared for the worst when the robbery was taking place. Her and her sister Kourtney had traveled to Europe to attend the Paris Fashion Week, and Kim noted during the interview that Kourtney had packed up all of Kim's jewelry for the trip, which according to her was something that she had never really done before. Kim went on to explain that on the evening of the attack, Kourtney had left the hotel with her only bodyguard, which left Kim completely alone in their suite. Kim recounted that terrifying experience and said that around 3 o'clock in the morning she remembered hearing stomping coming up the stairs. To her, it sounded as if a group of people were inching closer and closer to her room. Something about the noise instantly made her feel like someone had broken in. So with every second counting now, Kim quickly grabbed her phone to dial for help. Although shortly after, the gang of intruders did indeed violently make their way into her hotel room and specifically demanded that she hand over the ring that Kanye West had just purchased for her. They ended up escaping with more than $10 million in jewelry that included her $4 million engagement ring given to her by Kanye West. With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled Top 10 Harry Potter Stars Who Passed Away. Brittany Huskin says, I love all the Harry Potter movies. Same here. It was very difficult actually to go back over all of the great actors that we've lost from that entire franchise, but at least they are forever, what's the word, immortalized on film. Ryan Swanson says, how dare you mention Richard Harris without acknowledging his role in Gladiator? My apologies, Ryan, I do not know how I missed that one, but there it is for you. Juliet says, does Johnny have a mullet? A mullet would require very short hair in the front, and mine is just long everywhere. I appreciate your concern though. Lacey says, Richard Harris was a hard loss to take. Most definitely, he will be sorely missed. Christopher Escobar says, why no costume? I was dressed up as a Dodgers fan, Christopher. I'm sorry you didn't get it. And that has been the top 10 celebrities who were robbed. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to the most amazing team behind the scenes for all of their hard work. If you enjoyed this video, then please show some love here by tapping that like button. Plus, don't forget to leave us a comment down below with your thoughts on today's list. From Top 10 Beyond the Screen, my name is Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy.